Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is my very first video so you might have to bear with me a little bit. I am a little bit nervous. I'm just gonna wing it and do what we can. So just a quick intro as to kind of what my channel is going to be about and what I kind of intend for it. Obviously with the title of this video you can tell that I'm going to be talking about addiction, my own addiction, how I got into that, and I am at some point going to be filming me coming off it, the withdrawal process, all that sort of thing. So it's not going to be a very pretty sight, but it's going to be raw and real, and that's kind of one of the main things that I want to have on this channel. Another topic that I will be discussing is prison. So I've got two very different perspectives on prison, one from working within and one from actually being within a prison, being incarcerated. So I'll be discussing those two very different, like I say, very different opinions on the two different sides of things, and discussing some really quite traumatic things that I witnessed, and just kind of raising awareness really. A lot of the things that people see in films and programs they don't realise actually do happen, and probably a lot worse than what we see on there. So that's another topic that I'll be discussing. And kind of linked to these two is going to be mental health. I've almost had every mental health diagnosis at some point throughout my life. It's been a kind of a whirlwind since I was very small. I've had all different types of treatments, every kind of medication near enough. So I will be kind of discussing my own experience with that, how I've dealt with it, the different facilities I've been in, the different kinds of treatments that I've had, different kind of therapies that I've had, all that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I want the channel to be, a little bit of an overview of what I kind of intend for it and what you can expect from some of the videos that I'll be filming. So getting back on track with this particular video, and this is just going to be a bit of an overview of my fentanyl addiction, how I got into that, how I deal with that, and my plans for obviously coming off of this at some point. So for those of you who don't know what fentanyl is, it's a man-made opiate. So it comes from the same group of drugs as heroin, codeine, tramadol, all that sort of thing. It is incredibly strong. So to put it into context, it's about 100 times stronger than morphine and about 50 times stronger or more potent than heroin, just to give you an idea. It's been in the news a lot recently, in the media a lot. It's the drug that almost killed Demi Lovato. She was a heroin user. The heroin that she had was laced with fentanyl, and that's what nearly killed her. It's what is killing a lot of people. It's big in America at the moment, but it's also a big issue over here. We have an opiate crisis in the UK as well. Heroin and other drugs are being laced with fentanyl, and as I said, it's incredibly potent and incredibly addictive. There was a really well done documentary that I watched with Ross Kemp, I think it was last year, and it was about the opiate crisis in the UK. And in that documentary there was two real standout bits for me. One of those was a drug dealer who was basically, obviously he had a voice disguiser on and he had a mask on, but he was discussing that he mixes fentanyl into his drugs, so he cuts them with the fentanyl because he knows it's much more addictive, so they'll always be coming back to him because they'll get what he described as a better high, and obviously it's much more addictive, so they're always going to be wanting it more so than they would previously. And Ross Kemp said to him, but what about the people you're killing? And he was just like, well, it's just part and parcel of the job. It was just like, it meant absolutely nothing. And that was a really scary, eye-opening part of the documentary. The other bit that really was shocking was there was a man that was talking about his wife. They'd both been heroin addicts for a very long time, like 20 plus years I think. She went out, bought some heroin, and it was cut with fentanyl. Obviously she wasn't aware of this, and it killed her. Now this is somebody who's used heroin for 20 odd years and still fentanyl killed her. That's just crazy. Obviously it's a very strong drug, but you can't believe that it would have that effect on somebody that is so used to opiates, so used to the same group of drugs. It's a really strong drug. So that kind of gives you an overview of the strength and the kind of what we're dealing with when it comes to fentanyl. So how I got into fentanyl and how I got taking it. You don't just one day wake up or go to the doctors and suddenly start on fentanyl, having never used that group of drugs before, or having not worked your way up. So essentially I was in a car accident. It wasn't a particularly bad car accident, and thankfully no one else was hurt at all. It was just 3 cars. I was stationary and a car came and hit me from behind. The car in front had its handbrake on, and so I got kind of squashed in the middle. At first I didn't feel any pain. I think adrenaline had kicked in. I was just panicking. Then probably half an hour later, when the paramedics arrived, I felt like I was frozen. I felt like I couldn't move, and it took 6 paramedics to get me out of the car. I'm only tiny. I'm only like 49 kilograms, so I'm really small, and it still took 6 paramedics to get me out of the car because I felt like I couldn't move. I felt like I was paralysed. I went to hospital. They realised quite quickly that I hadn't broken anything and that it was muscle damage. So it was whiplash. And then I was okay for about, not okay, but I was functioning, and I was taking codeine and paracetamol for quite substantial period of time, but that was managing it for probably about 18 months. That managed it. Side note, I do have lower back pain from, I've ridden horses since I was 2 years old, so anybody that has horses knows you have back pain from falling off, from everything that we do, really. You do get back pain. So I have lower back pain already, and then upper back pain from the car accident. I was taking for about 18 months codeine, paracetamol without any issues. I was getting kind of twinges, and if I was in one position for too long it was kind of painful. I would have to move quite a lot, which kind of leads me on to the fact that I got a job working in an office for, I think it was 4 months. So for 9 hours a day I sat still, I didn't move. The only time I moved was to go to the toilet, a couple of times a day, but generally I just sat there, and my back started to seize really, really badly. I'd already, just before this, been in talks about trying different medications because I was really, really struggling. The pain started to get a bit worse anyway, but being in this job made it a hell of a lot worse, and I basically was on every single medication at some point. Every single pain medication. We tried all sorts, like nerve medication, different types basically of pain relief, and nothing was really doing it. I do plan on doing another video talking through all the medications, because I've essentially been on, as I said, every mental health medication, but also every pain medication as well at some point in my life. So I do plan on doing a video discussing all the medications I've been on, the side effects I have, what worked, what didn't work. Obviously, disclaimer, everybody's different. So what worked for me may not work for someone else, and what didn't work for me may work perfectly for somebody else. I know many people that are on medications that didn't work for me and they weren't great for them. So that goes without saying, I think, but just as a side note. So I'd been in this job not very long at all. I went back to my doctor and I said, I need to try something else. So we worked our way through so many different pain medications, and they'd work temporarily and then they'd stop working, and then we'd increase it, and then we'd get to the maximum dose and we'd have to try something else, and we would try different combinations of different drugs together just to try and find something that would help. In the meantime, I was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I then got to the point where I couldn't function. I had to have some time off work. I couldn't dress myself. My partner at the time was having to dress me, shower me, brush my hair, wash my hair, help me get dressed, all that sort of thing. He was having to help me with, because I was really, really struggling. I then went to hospital, so I kept going back to my doctors probably 2 to 3 times a week, and nothing was helping. So we went to A&E and they prescribed me with diazepam, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a muscle relaxant, and it's very, very strong, and it works very, very quickly. I've been in the healthcare industry for at this point maybe 6 or 7 years. All in all, I did 8 years working in healthcare, so I had some understanding of medications and drugs and things. So I knew diazepam was very, very strong, and I had high hopes for it. Basically took the diazepam and I had 3-day supply. So I kind of just remained in bed. That's all I could do, and I took it. And you know, first day nothing happened, second day nothing happened, and third day again nothing happened. So we went to a walking centre, and this is where I had my first kind of meeting with opiates. The doctor recommended I try tramadol, which I was more than happy to try. I just wanted anything that was going to take the pain away. I was in so much pain. So yeah, I was more than happy to take this. So I took the tramadol, and the first day the side effects were horrific. They were so bad. I was so sick and dizzy, and this went on for weeks. I was just passing out left, right and centre. Me and my partner at the time were supposed to be moving house, and I was just, every time I took it I was passing out. About 10-15 minutes later passed out, and then I'd wake up about half an hour to an hour later, and that was happening 4 times a day when I took it, but it was helping for the pain. So that was great. I was more than happy with that. I then, as time went on, your body gets used to it, and I had to increase the dose. So I was increasing the dose. I then got to the maximum dose, and it stopped helping. It was helping, but it wasn't doing what it was doing previously. So I went back to the doctor, and they gave me Oromorph, so it's morphine in liquid form, and this was supposed to be taken as a PRN, so a kind of as and when medication. Started on a very small dose. This was to be taken alongside the tramadol as well. So I started on a small dose, and it was really helpful. I started to have the same feelings and side effects that I had when I started tramadol, so the passing out, the sickness, the dizziness. Obviously during this time I did not drive and I was off work. So we started on the Oromorph, and it did the same thing. It felt great, and I must have stayed on this combination, so the tramadol and the Oromorph, for quite some time. I did end up leaving my job in the office, and I went back to work in healthcare because I found I was actually better when I was more active. So my back wasn't seizing up, so I went back into working in healthcare, working as a support worker, and the combination of the tramadol and the Oromorph was working really well. The doctor had previously said to me that I can increase a small amount every so many days. What he didn't say to me was to stop at a certain point. The thing is with morphine, heroin, fentanyl, those sorts of drugs, there isn't a maximum dose. It's just what your body can take. So it's really difficult for them to say this is what your body can take, because everybody is different. So he didn't kind of tell me to stop, so I didn't. I kept going on and on and on and on because it was helping. Side note, it was also making me feel really nice. It was like feeling drunk, but not. It was different. It was a really nice feeling. I felt really giddy and giggly and happy. So we'll bear that in mind. So yeah, I continued to increase it. I then went back to the doctor, and he was like, what are you doing? Like, you should not be on this much. This is way too much for you. Like, we need to stop this immediately. You're probably going to overdose. And I thought, oh my God, like, this is the one thing that's helped and we want to stop. Like, what now? So I then went on to Zomorph, which is morphine in capsules. Just didn't really help, to be honest, because we stopped. I think I was still on Oromorph on a lower dose, and then I was on Zomorph as capsules, so I might have just been on the capsules. It wasn't for very long at all, to be honest. So then I went to this doctor, and I haven't had the best meetings with this doctor. She's told me 3 or 4 times completely false information, which, you know, I get it. Females in any profession that is very male dominated, she was young, she was probably trying to prove herself, which I get it, you know, I get it. I've been in that situation many times, but this is people's lives we're dealing with. And the other bits of false information I could deal with because it wasn't that much of an issue, but this really was, you know, it's ruined my life, to be honest. So I went in and I said, would I be able to try morphine in a patch form, because some of my patients that I deal with have that, and I'd be interested in trying it. You know, I've been on morphine for, at this point, maybe 6 months, maybe a bit longer, so I felt like that would be helpful. And she said, yeah, absolutely. And I saw her type in fentanyl. As I said, I was a healthcare worker and I'd never heard of fentanyl. And I said, oh, what's fentanyl? And she told me it was a brand name for morphine. Bear in mind what I said at the beginning about it being 50 times stronger than heroin, 100 times stronger than morphine. And she told me it was a brand name. So yeah, it's not. I just, you know, I believed I had no reason not to, so I said, okay, yeah, great, I'll have that. She kind of worked out my dose of what I should be on for how much morphine I was on at the moment, and gave me the patch. So I started off on a really small amount. The smallest they do is like 12 micrograms per hour. So I popped that on. Instantly I was very, very poorly. Like, the side effects I had from the tramadol and the morphine first time I went on them were like a million times worse. I was so not with it at all. I could barely walk in a straight line. I was dizzy, I was sick, but the pain wasn't there. And even with the tramadol and the morphine, they'd helped, but they hadn't completely eradicated the pain. They'd helped a lot, and I felt a lot better, but the pain wasn't completely gone. For the first time, the pain was completely gone, and it was like, this is amazing. Yeah, I feel like crap, but the pain is gone, and this is all I've wanted now for like years. The pain's gone. And slowly but surely I got used to the side effects. I got less poorly and less poorly, but obviously my tolerance got higher. So when, you know, it got to maybe 6 months and the 12 micrograms per hour wasn't doing what it did 6 months previously, so I increased. And then about every 6 to 8 months I increased and I increased and I increased. I am now on 50 micrograms per hour, which is incredibly strong. I'm not quite sure what the maximum dosage is, but it's up there. It's really, really strong. And I've now been on this for 4 years. I have tried to ask my doctors about coming off this when I realised what it was, because obviously I was having these side effects, and I thought I wouldn't be feeling this poorly because I've been on morphine for a period of time now and I don't really get the side effects anymore. I googled it, and that is when I saw that fentanyl is very, very different. And that was really scary. I'm realising I'd been told something that was completely false from a doctor who obviously I wanted to trust and I thought I could trust, but what she'd given me was completely different. It was a completely different drug, although it comes from the same group, is a completely different drug. And I started to do a bit more research, and it really shook me because I thought, this is really serious. Like, this medication I've been given is really, really serious, and it really is one of the strongest painkillers there is. So obviously at this point I did start to panic a little bit, and I did, you know, I wanted to not be on it, but also it was helping with my pain, so I really did not know what to do. It was the only thing I'd found that could help. I thought I would have regular reviews with the doctor, that we could sit down and chat and see if there was any other way, any other medications I hadn't tried. But no, they've kind of just left me. And every time I have a review, they just say, are you okay? And I say, yeah, it's helping with the pain. They're like, okay, fine, we'll do your repeat prescription. And that is all the support that I've had. It's been really, really minimal. Anytime I've asked for any further support, they will refer me to a different department. So they might refer me to like a pain management clinic. Great, I thought this is going to be it. I went into the pain management clinic and I was feeling really, really positive. And first thing he said was, what the hell are you doing on fentanyl? I said, I didn't ask for it. I asked for morphine. He was like, so why are you on fentanyl? I was like, I don't know. I was given it. I never ever asked for it. I didn't even know what it was. So he was really shocked about that. He was like, we need to get you off this like yesterday. So I was like, okay, yeah, I understand this. So we went through everything. We tried all sorts and nothing helped. And he just sort of said, okay, well, we've tried everything that I know. Don't come back, essentially. I have tried everything, and again, I was going to do another video on all the different treatments that I've tried for pain. You name it, I've done it. I've tried everything and nothing helps. Apart from massage does temporarily alleviate it. And fentanyl is the only thing that does. So how I knew that I was addicted, well, I didn't believe I was for a long time. I did not believe I was. It was like, no, I'm not an addict. Look at me. I don't look like an addict. If you see on these programs heroin, fentanyl addicts, I don't look like that. So I'm not that. I was prescribed it from the doctor. How can I be addicted? I'm just doing what the doctor told me to do. These are things that I told myself for a very, very long time. Which is what addicts tell themselves. They deny it and deny it and deny it and deny it a bit more. This was me for a very, very long time. There is even on the packet, it states how addictive this is. It also states on the packet that anybody who touches, because I get it in patch form, anybody who touches the patch, it can be fatal. If that isn't enough of a warning, I don't know what is. The time that I knew I was addicted, while I used to work selling hot tubs, and my friends used to come in them after work quite a lot. So it's one day we went in after work, and like I said, I have it in a patch, so I have it in a patch on my back. And so I went in my swimming stuff, probably got out about 6 o'clock. Went home, by 8 o'clock, I started to feel really, really poorly. This was maybe only about 8 months ago. I started to feel really, really poorly. Like, I was sick, I was dizzy, I was going hot and cold. All I wanted to do was go to bed. So went to bed, and I kept waking up in a cold sweat, going from absolutely boiling hot, like my sheets, my pajamas are soaking wet, to take the coat off, and I'm shivering, I'm so cold. I try and get up, I can't even walk in a straight line, I'm so dizzy. I thought maybe I had COVID. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I knew I felt like shit, and I felt like I was dying. That is the only way I can describe it. I was so ill. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I just want to feel better. So I tried to get back to sleep a little bit more. I went back to sleep for maybe a couple of hours. I woke up because my legs were kicking involuntarily. I couldn't stop it, and that freaked me out so much. I was like, what the hell is going on? My legs were just kick. And I just lay there like, what on earth is going on? I'm still getting the hot, cold. I'm throwing up. I'm super dizzy. I can't walk in a straight line. I feel so poorly. My head is banging. Every part of my body hurts. Like, what on earth is going on? Kept trying to get back to sleep. The only way I could is by locking my knees so they would stop kicking, and I got back to sleep for a couple of hours. I woke up again, it was about 6 o'clock, and I was like, what? I don't know what is wrong with me. I realised, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together at this point. I realised I was due to change my patch that morning, so I thought, right, I'll just get up and put that on. And because the pain had set in a little bit, but when it's the day before, like the night before I change my patch, I generally get worse pain anyway, so I didn't really link the two. So I went to change my patch, and I felt on my back, and there was nothing there. I was like, well, what the hell, where's my patch gone? I thought about it, like, maybe it came off when I was in the hot tubs. Looked at my swimming costume, and yeah, on the back of it was my patch. Again, didn't really think too much of it. I thought, I wouldn't have thought this made me feel this bad, because obviously I'm not addicted at this point. I'm fine. I'm not addicted. I could stop at any point. put my patch on, lay back in bed, still feeling absolutely awful. When finally got back to sleep, woke up about 2 hours later. Other than feeling a little bit sick and I had a bit of a headache, I was fine. All my other side effects had subsided. And that was a huge wake-up call for me. I thought, okay, I think I've just been withdrawing. I think I've just gone through a withdrawal process, and that is absolutely terrifying. I was on my own, which made me feel even worse, but yeah, I did. I went through a withdrawal process on my own, and it was absolutely terrifying. So it kind of took me a little while to come to terms with the fact that, okay, you are actually addicted. You need this. You genuinely cannot survive without this, is what it felt like. And I got a little bit depressed. I got really down because I thought, how have I ended up in this position? How have I ended up an addict? Like, this isn't supposed to happen. This is not part of the plan. Like, this was not it. And I carried around tramadol, what I used previously, as a kind of as and when I needed it. So it would be if I was really struggling with my pain, if I had run out of patches, if it was my day to change the night, like I said, the pain usually got a bit worse, I would take it. I then started taking it much more regularly than I actually needed it. I was telling myself it was the pain. Again, that's what addicts do. I need it for my back pain. I need it. I'm in pain. I'm struggling with my pain. If anybody questioned me, it's my back pain. It was a little bit, but my back pain is there all the time, so it was just an excuse to just take it. And I'd gone from taking maybe 1 or 2 a week to 1 or 2 a day, sometimes 3 a day. And it kind of made me feel a bit numb. It made me feel a bit lighter. And again, that was another thing of like, when I realised, do you know what, you're taking this, you don't actually need it. You're taking this because it makes you feel good. And that's abusing the drug. And again, it kind of hit home that I'm addicted, and I'm addicted to the way they make me feel. I'm physically addicted to the drug, but I'm also addicted because it makes me feel good and it stops me from feeling sad and feeling depressed. So at that point, I nearly ran out. I had like 2 left, and I said to myself, you need to save this for if you are without, because you know you can't be without. And kind of had a bit of an argument with myself, and I said, okay, yeah, do you know what, I need to leave this for if I'm without my pain relief. And by some miracle I managed to stop myself, but I was craving it badly. All I could think about was, I want to take it, I want to take it, I want to take it, I really want to take it, really. But I just thought back to withdrawing and how awful that was, and that was much, much worse than this, just craving it. So that was kind of where I stopped with it. I still take my fentanyl, I still have my patches. I've not increased. I do need to increase. Pain-wise, I need to increase, but I won't. Now I know how serious this is and how far along the kind of addiction I am. I won't increase it. I just can't do that to myself. I really struggle from a lot of the side effects as it is, weight gain being the main one. Not being able to put on weight is the main one. So I'm really, really small. I'm not actually underweight, but that's because I try really, really, really hard to just eat as much as I can. I don't really have an appetite very often at all. So I got down to a really, really small size. I was smaller than a UK size 4, so I was really, really tiny, and I just couldn't stomach food. But I make myself now, like I'm now up to a size 6, and I'm classed as a healthy weight, and I really, really am trying to, to fight that. But I still struggle with a lot of the other side effects. I get dizzy sometimes, I get sick a lot of the time, I feel really nauseous. I don't really get sleepy anymore, but the night before my patch is due to be changed, all I can think about is my patch. I get to change my patch tomorrow. I get to change it 'cause that day I feel really good. And I sit there and I tell my partner I'm changing my patch tomorrow, change my patch. And I get almost excited about it. And that's like, again, another wake-up call. I never used to be like that. I never used to be excited about changing it, but because it makes me feel so good and my body needs it now, and that's just the life of an addict, really. That's what we're dealing with. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment with my fentanyl addiction. As I said, I will be filming when I decide to come off of it. I did think it was going to be this year, but I'm not ready to do it yet. I'm not in a place where I feel like I could do it. As much as I want to, I don't feel like I could do it yet. I know that I need to. I really, really want to have children. I know I can't have children whilst being on it, but I also know I need something else in place to help with that. I am having other treatments at the moment as well. I'm having kinesiology. I try all sorts of different things. I'm having regular massages, so I'm hoping I'm going to change doctors as well, and I'm hoping I'll be able to have something to be able to help me with that a little bit better, and then we'll be able to come off it. But yeah, don't expect great things from that video because it is not going to be a pretty sight at all. I really have enjoyed filming this, and I'm really excited to film some more and kind of let you know a little bit more of everything that I discussed earlier. I really appreciate anybody who's watched it, especially got to this point, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.